Folks, today I am joined by Dylan O'Brien, an actor you may know from projects such as Teen Wolf, Maze Runner, Deepwater Horizon, Love and Monsters, which I actually just watched last night. Great time. And his
Oh,
new
thanks.
film, The Outfit, which will hit theaters on March 18th. Dylan, congrats on the film, and thank you for joining me today, man.
Dude, thank you so much.
I want to start with something that's both near and dear to our hearts, a curse known as the New York Mets.
I can't wait.
No, I'm just playing with you. We'll chat some Mets at the end if we have. Yep, there you go. My pops is from Queens, so I'm Jets and Mets. Are you both?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, killer, dude.
I can't wait. I'm so excited about the Jets. 4 picks in the top 38. Let's go.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I can't even remember the last good pick we've had.
It's hilarious. I mean, I was hilarious. Elijah Moore's going to be a stud. And Carter too, I love. But I was talking about this earlier. We can move on from this super briefly, but I was talking about it earlier, like how the most like Mets Jets fan thing about me, even as like I feel like I'm a pretty level-headed one, but like I still will just get so excited in like even just coming off like such a such failure. Like I'm just like I don't know, but we got those four picks though. Like,
well, I mean, if you can't enjoy it now, there's no time to enjoy it. The best time the best time being a Jets and Mets fan is when the games aren't being played.
That's true. It's true.
All right, man. Let's start with your new film, The Outfit. I'm curious.
Yep.
What's the difference in your mindset when it comes to leading a film where you're in virtually every scene, like Love and Monsters, versus being part of an ensemble like in this film?
Yeah, there is a difference. There's a lot of different aspects to it, I guess. Like one being, sometimes if you are leading something, if you're sort of like the eyes for the audience, in a way, like it's a very interesting. You're not necessarily like the one who can come in and chew up the scenery, right? You're almost sort of like holding it down for everybody else too, in a way, and sort of serve as the honest engine to kind of like drive the film, if that makes sense. Like, and again, and I don't know if any of this is right. This is just my take on all of it. And then I think when you're a supporting character, you sort of have a little more room to come in and be a little splashier, again, it always depends on the piece as well. Like it's not that a lot a leading role can't be splashy or meaty. It depends on the piece for sure. In something like this, I was definitely I was excited to sort of dip my toe in something, and I'm not there the whole time. I kind of just play a role, and then it's about defining the role that you play to the piece, which I think is the same for anything. But in this one, you have a little bit more leeway to kind of chew it up a bit, and you can kind of go for it a little more. You can kind of like take a little leg kick in that swing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, the point that you make, actually, I mean, great job, because it comes across on screen. One of the notes that I wrote down when I watched this film was the energy changes in the film when you walk in. Like you bring a different dynamic to what's going on. And especially considering that not only does this film take place in one set, but it's the main character's like domain. It's very ordered. It's very neat.
Right.
And you come in and just are sort of like just stirring shit up, really, in a film sense. And I thought that was something that I hadn't seen from you before, because I'm used to you being front and center,
Right. That's really cool. That's really cool of you to say, man.
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate that.
So let's talk about that voice of yours. Margot Robbie, when she was getting her Brooklyn accent down for Wolf of Wall Street, she said that she got into the zone by someone told her pretend like she has fake nails on, and she kind of found the vibe from there. How did you sort of wrap your head around not only the Chicago accent, but the mindset of a like late 1940s gangster?
Right. That's really, really funny. It can be sometimes, like something like that, like a little, some little characteristic or some little like crutch that like puts it together for you. Cause the Chicago I was completely unfamiliar with. It's not like I had it on deck, and that I was always like able to do. And I was sort of like, I was like, fuck, what do fucking Chicago people sound like?
The only like the voice in my head is from that famous Saturday Night Live sketch from the
Yeah, yeah.
90s with like Farley and all
Yeah,
them.
yeah. Yeah, I know. I was doing the same thing. Like I was like, all right, so what? It's like D's instead of T's, and like, you know, you can start breaking it down. I did a bunch of different things. Mainly it just, you know, first of all, I didn't want to do anything that sounded super on the nose, you know. So like, you know, so I sort of just tried to found my own way into it. I didn't like, you know, work with a dialect coach. We had a dialect coach who was like in the vicinity of the film, and I had an hour session with her at one point, and just to bounce off what I was doing to see if she would be like, do not do that. And but I wanted it to really, like, you know, accents are so personal, like they're so particular. So I wanted it to be, I think it can be imperfect. It can be, you know, like you know, I think he can, a thing I wanted to do, I started listening to like, I was listening to this podcast called it's literally like the Chicago accent guys podcast or something like that. And it's just these guys just like, you know, truing it up, like doing like Chicago, like a fucking, like the furthest you'd ever go. So, and it would also just crack me up. And so I would like listen to that. And I was like, there's elements where I can like go super far here, where I think he would like, I'd like love to like go far, you know, with it. And then I think there's times where, you know, you pull it back. There's also like the Chicago and like the Chicago like thing. There's like the north side, south side difference. And I thought that was interesting to play with because Richie is no doubt north side, but I think he kind of like his part of his whole thing is like trying to like be tougher than he is. You know, he grew up a rich kid on the north side of Chicago. His dad's a fucking mob boss, you know. He wears fine fucking suits and like, you know, he's a rich kid, right? So he's north side, but I ended up going like, I wanted to say like the Chicago thing because I think there's moments where I think you want him to read like he's trying to present street, you know? You know, when you meet like kids who grew up wealthy and they're insecure that they grew up wealthy, so they like try to overcompensate for that by
Absolutely.
like talking like they fucking
I'm
grew up on
from
the block.
Jersey, man. That's like half the state.
It's half the state. I know. So like yeah, exactly. Like I just always found that so funny because it's the wealthiest kids that I knew growing up who were the ones who were like most insecure about their wealth, and they like, you know, would like talk like they're from like, you know, whatever, and it's just like sucked out of, it's insane, you know. So there's an element of that, and yeah, I don't know, and then getting the clothes on and the ring really helped me. If my Margot Robbie thing is my ring for Richie.
There you go.
Cause as soon as I put my ring on, I'd like hang my hand. I like want to like hang my hands. There's something like flamboyant and like rich to me about that. Like I love that I love the idea of doing that. He pulls up his little leather gloves and like hangs his little hand, you know, like as he's like talking shit to somebody, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And so there was yeah, all those elements would start getting me into I started just hearing the voice. So it was a mix of all this stuff.
So you get to share a pretty meaty one-on-one scene with Mark Rylance, who I think is probably the definition of an actor's actor.
Totally.
When you're sharing a screen with someone that's considered one of the greats, does it, whether you want it to or not, does it affect how you prepare and how you perform? Is there a sense of, I've got to bring my fucking A game or else I'm going to get smoked off the screen? How do you go into sharing scenes with someone like that? And is there anything that you learned from him that you'll carry with you going forward?
Yeah. Yeah. As far as like preparing to like work with Mark, you definitely, I like, you know, I wanted to come in prepared, and I wanted to know my shit and have ideas, and which again, you should always be doing, regardless. But yeah, I guess there's a little extra. I mean, how can it not? It's like when you're starting like any new gig, and with any new people, you want to, you know, what do? We show up on time, we show up early, we're prepared, we're, you know, we're like, you know, you're starting a new gig, right? So you're presenting your best self, right? But as far as the performance went, I was really wanting to not get, you know, in my head about what like, you know, about who I was sitting opposite, and because I instinctively I just felt like that would lead to me being not present and maybe doing too much, you know. So, and Mark makes that really easy because he's such a calming presence. Like there's nothing that makes, you know, there's nothing uncomfortable about his presence around you, right? So like you're not ever made to feel, and he's so supportive too, and he's like such a, like he's like such a fan, you know, like he'll just be like, you're so amazing, you know, which is like hilarious because you're just like, dude, you know, but it helps in the moment. It makes you feel comfortable.
Right.
You're just
Right.
cool.
Right. Right.
I can relax and do my thing. I don't have to like overcompensate for anything, you know. If anything, he's also like, you know, he's such a subtle actor on screen
Yeah.
that he's doing, and this is like such a subtle performance, you know, that you're kind of just yelling with that anyway. And yeah, there's like, it's like a 9-pager, us in chairs. I mean, it's like I could have done it all day. There's a really funny you know, and he's just so amazing because like we come out of like one take, and he's like, it's just like I'll tell us as briefly as possible. We come out of like one take, and he's just like, and he's like, how did that feel for you? I felt like that one was really good. And I was like, yeah, it's fucking great, you know. How about you? And he's like, I saw you. I saw on that one. I saw you as like a young Irish boy that I used to fight in the war with, and I watched him die, and I saw you all of a sudden. You were in my arms, and you were dying, and you had the. Yeah, you had a soldier. You were a young Irish soldier. It was really amazing. What happened for you? And I was like,
I'm just trying to read the lines, man.
not that. I was like, I was thinking about what they had out at Crafty, but yeah, no, and that's why you know, you're you, man. And as far as learning something from him, I learned a lot about. He's such a like you said, an actor's actor, right? So he came up. I mean, he's a knighted theater actor, like who's literally like anointed by some as like the greatest living actor, or the greatest of all time, right? So this guy is so respected and so admired, and like, and so experienced, and also comes up through the world where it's the actor's medium, right? It's the performance is priority, the acting process is the priority in theater, you know. And I came up very differently, where oftentimes that was like not the priority, and if anything too, oftentimes I was like, you know, batted down or gaslit for trying to make that a priority in moments, you know, being like, hold on, let me get into this here, and you know, or have ideas, or want to change something, or want to do things differently, or whatever, you know. So it was really cool to sort of to watch him sort of in a space and like guide the process a bit with just how he believes it should be done. And like, you know, we had really proper rehearsal time, which you never get. And obviously you know, he's the reason we got that. And Graham really wanted to protect that. And so we got to like rehearse the entire screenplay before we shot the movie, which is in this space, you know, like a play, which is like unfucking believable, you know.
Yeah, and from what I've heard, that's quite rare to have time to rehearse.
So rare. You like show up, you do like costume fittings, like makeup tests, and you're just like shooting day one, and you're like, oh, whoa. I gotta have my shit together, you know.
I'm still trying to land this voice here.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was talking to Jonathan Majors for the Harder They Fall, and in that he's just sort of like a badass gunslinger, Western cowboy. And I asked him, I was like, where does that archetype rank in terms of like dope roles an actor could take on? And I imagine like 1940s Chicago gangster is like one of those roles where it's just such an ideal of what like cool acting is. Does that factor into your thought process when you take on roles? Like, I want to play this type of dude, so then you go and seek it out, or do you just sort of take what comes your way?
Yeah, no, you know, it doesn't happen in that way, right? Is a, you know, 1950s Chicago outfit gangster, like chain smoking, you know, fucking guns, suited, you know, in like a fucking $10,000 suit, like, is that a dope role? Absolutely. But do you seek that out? Like, no, I don't necessarily. It's just because the team around it obviously has to be right anyway, or else you're sort of making something that has no, you know, substance to it, you know. So this, first and foremost, this piece just had such incredible substance to it. The script, the screenplay was unbelievable, you know. It was so dialed in from the get-go. It was a ride. It was like, I mean, it is basically word for word, like, you know, we barely changed it, you know, and that's like incredible, especially now. That's really rare that a script is like that polished going into production. And so everything was there. And then the team that came in too, I think the script really drew like a lot of amazing, or we had an amazing crew, you know, like there was so many, like, there were like Oscar winners around, you know, our production design, DP, you know, like everybody's like incredible. Um, and, you know, and obviously Mark as well. So there's, it has to be the right situation, obviously, like, and as far as it being like a dream role in terms of like just being able to like fucking sink into it and chew it up, I mean, it's an all-timer, you know. If anything, I was so trying to teeter back and forth. I was like, God, I don't want to like leave this set and feel like I didn't like leave it all on the floor, you know.
Right.
And you really want to soak in that chance. And it was really, I only shot like 9 days of the movie, you know.
Oh,
So
that's
like
great.
you know, counted to me, and I was just like, all right, I don't want to like, you know, be extra necessarily, but I really want to like chew this up, you know, and soak this in while I have the chance to do like this. I was very aware that it was very, you know, fucking cool chance.
And I definitely think you held your own without like wading too far into being like a caricature. So I think you.
Oh, cool, man. Appreciate that.
So I was looking through your work and I noticed in 2021 you made some very surprise, but what I think are very smart choices. You popped up in that Mark Wahlberg film. You popped up in Curb as yourself, and then you popped up in All Too Well. Was this approach of appearing in smaller but different types of projects on purpose? Were you trying to, because you're someone whose career started as sort of like the front-facing A-list guy. So were you intentionally trying to spread your wings a bit this past year?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It you know, well, it was intentional in that it was like organic to who I am. But you know, and then not, it wasn't like strategic necessarily. There's a strategic element to it in terms of just like me wanting to sort of operate in a way that is closer to how I feel. Like, as you know, I'm 30 years old now, and like I feel like I know who I am, like as a person, and like as like an artist. And I really, you know, I feel like I've always felt like I was like, you know, a character actor. And I, you know, and it's funny because I think I started on, you know, and but that's what we do anyway. We're fucking always playing characters. But I do feel like that is like my inner self, and that's like what interests me, and that's like what I like to do. You know, I don't think I have like one face that I just use, you know, and that's what I think is fun and cool. So yeah, I think it probably just is me just sort of getting that chance now to dip my toes in like different things. And I just had a cool plethora of kind of things that I came across this year. All just felt really like different. All felt like they had a really chance to be cool, different, like original, like, you know, offbeat things. And some of them I was only on for like 2 weeks and then I'm out, you know, which I'd never done before in my career. So it felt really cool to, you know, I think I did like 5 things this year, which is crazy. Like, you know, I was on 4 film sets, and then if you throw in the Taylor music video, you know, you throw in the Curb thing too, in the 6. And I think if you added all the days together, I probably worked like less days still than like it would take to do like one Maze Runner movie, for example, you know. So it was like a really cool thing to just sort of really switch it up and play all these different characters on these cool different, you know, projects that for each of their own reasons I felt like I would, you know, do again and again. And
absolutely. And I think that trend is continuing with this film. So
yeah, right on.
So I've got to let you go. So I want to wrap with one more. And I swear I wasn't going to do this to you, but last night I was going through your Twitter and you tweeted about a little film called The Batman, which gave me the in. Now, if you look at the replies, there are quite a lot of people who want to see you cast as a certain side character. Dick Grayson, aka Robin, aka Nightwing. I don't know if you're aware of that or not, but I just figured that I would give you the chance to speak on that if you want to at all.
I'll speak on it. I am aware of it. I've seen a lot of it. I unfortunately, like I have not heard anything about it on like a professional side. So it's cool. It's cool that like you know, it made its way to me. Like I've seen so much of it, like to the point where I even like I was like asked my manager, I was like, is this even like an actual thing or is this fully like fan cast? And she was like, it's totally fan cast.
Well, keep your hopes up, pal.
Keep the lines
Pattinson
open.
said that he would like routinely check in on like the new Batman film, and then one day they were like, "Yeah, they're doing it." So,
Oh, really? That's
yeah,
awesome.
keep swinging,
That's
man.
awesome.
Hey, I thought you were great in this film. I'm really excited to see
Thanks,
where
Jason.
you are taking your career. I wish you and our Mets nothing but the best down the road, man.
Me too. Thanks, Eric. It was awesome talking to you.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that,
Cheers.
man. Take care.
Thanks.
Peace.